because this has got to be an interactive session with everybody participating. Don't mind if your answer is wrong. If you have any doubts, please, because this session will only be nice as long as it's being interactive. It's okay. It's okay if you're wrong. It's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you ask. Just come forward and voice your opinion. As long as it is interactive, it will be very interesting, and I'll try to keep it that way. So I have a small. You guys all know everything about Ramayanam, so I thought we'll probably brush up our basics a little bit to start getting children into the groove by having a small trivia quiz. Like, it's very easy stuff that you already know for your level. If it's tough, obviously we'll try and help you out, and we'll try and find out what the answer is. So I'll be going through a bunch of questions before we actually get into the story part. And with that announcement, let's start with Acharya Taniyan, and then we can start the class, okay? यस्या भवद्भक्तजनार्तिहन्तुः कृतत्वमन्वेषु विचार्यतोर्णं स्तम्भेवतारस्तमनं निलभ्यं लक्ष्मीं सिंहं शरणं प्रपद्ये अहोबिले गारुडशैलमध्ये कृपावशात् कल्पितसन्निधानं लक्ष्म्या समालङ्कितवामभागं लक्ष्मीं सिंहं शरणं प्रपद्ये कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पन्नगनद्धाय वैकुण्ठवशवर्तिने श्रुतसिन्धुसुतोत्पाद मंदराय गरुत्मते श्रीमद्रङ्गजटार श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्की केसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि। श्रीमद्रङ्गजटारि सम्यमिवराल् लब्धागमान्तद्वयं श्रीमद्वीररहूत्वहात्तिषडचिते पादारविन्दाश्रयं श्रीमद्वेदवतं सदेशिकयतेः कारुण्यवीक्षास्पदं सेवे रङ्गधुरीनशासनवसं नारायणं योगिनं वेदान्तदेशिकयतीन्द्रकटाक्षलब्ध तय्यन्तसारमनवद्यगुणम्बुधार्घ्यं नारायणात् यदुर्यकृपाभिषिक्तं श्रीरङ्गनाथ यतिशेखरमाश्रयामः। श्रीदे श्रीलक्ष्मीनृपादुका सेवकश्रीवञ्जरगोपश्री नारायण यतीन्द्रमहादेशिकाय नमः। श्रीदे श्रीवञ्जरगोपश्री रङ्गनाथगोपेतीन्द्रमहादेशिकाय नमः। Today it is Srimad Ramayanam, so let's also start with the Mangala Shlokam for Srimad Ramayanam. Pujantam Rama Rameti Maturam Maduraksharam आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसम्मस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानाथं को न याति पराङ्गतिं यः पिबञ्चरितं रामाचरितामृतसागरम् अतृप्तस्थं मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेतसमकल्मषं गोष्पतीकृतवाराशिं मशकीकृतराक्षसं रामायण महामाला रत्नं वन्दे नीलात्मजम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशम् अक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेहं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमुख्यं श्रीरामधूतं शिरसा नमामि। उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धोः सलिलं सलीलं निःशोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनैव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम् आञ्जनेयमधिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततर्मूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं वाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसी जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेदसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना तदुपगतसमाससन्धियोगं समवदुरोपनतार्थवाक्यबद्धं रघुवरचरितं मुनिप्रणीतं दशशिरश्च वदं निशामयध्वं श्रीराघवं दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयं सीतापतिं रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुमरविन्ददलायदाक्षं रामं निशाचरविनाशकरं नमामि। वैदेही सलिलं समुद्रमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकवासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाचयति प्रपञ्चलसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं वरदादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामळम्। यन्मङ्गलं सुपर्णस्य विनदा कल्पयत्पुरा अमृतं प्रार्थयस्तस्य तत्ते भवतु मङ्गलम्। सीतालक्ष्मणसुतहनुमत्समेत श्रीरामचन्द्रमूर्तिपरब्रह्मणे नमः। All right, children. Bhargavan, you had a very nice picture of Dole Krishnan in your background, Mr. Sriman. That was very nice. I see a lot of kids have joined. Yeah. So like I said, everybody, I'd really like everybody to join, ask questions, stop me if you have a concern, or however, trivia the question is, or however confused you are about the answer, just speak up. It's okay. We can work through, and that's what really makes this session really worthwhile and fun. So, don't mind about anything. As long as it's on subject, you can ask anything or we can discuss anything. With that, we'll just jump into the trivia quiz. This is going to be really easy as I start out, and it might get slightly difficult, but we obviously, I think you guys are like super duper intelligent, so you'll crack this like hands down. Who wrote Srimad Ramayana?
Valmiki.
Okay. Valmiki. Everybody knows it's Valmiki. So who is the father of Valmiki? So when we had, can anybody try?
Charashani.
Repeat that.
Is it like Charashani?
Can you, do you have an alternate name or any other clue as to who that may be?
Pracheta.
Yes. Who's that?
He's also known as.
I didn't hear the name. Please speak up.
He's also known as
Sumali.
I know. No. Who answered Prachetas?
Sudarshan.
Oh, Sudarshan. Okay. How could I forget that voice? Okay. So his name was Valmiki's name was Prachetas. Okay. He was the son of Pracheta. So who is Pracheta? It is another name for Lord Varuna. Valmiki is supposed to be a descendant of Lord Varuna, and Varuna is called Prachetas. So that is why Valmiki is referred to as Vedaha Prachetasadaasit Sakshad Ramayanatmana. So Valmiki is referred to as Prachetas. That is the second question. And what Vamsam did Rama belong to? I have a multiple choice.
Raghu.
Vamsam, but slightly. Is it Chandra Vamsam? Is it Hari Vamsam?
Surya Vamsam.
Very nice. Surya Vamsam. Rama belonged to the Surya Vamsam, and his father was Dasaratha, and Dasaratha's father was Aja. And we have seen our Sam SV class about Surya Vamsam and all the kings, great kings that ruled one after the other in the Surya Vamsam. Okay. Another technical question. Do you know which nakshatram Raman was born on? Like Raman. Punarvasu. Very nice. So let me go a little more technical. Who asked Lord Rama to be sent along with him to the forest for Dushta Samhara, or for protecting the yajna of a particular rishi? That rishi asked Dasharatha for sending Rama when he was almost a teenager. Vishwamitra. And which demon did Rama destroy?
Taraka.
Okay. Very nice. Very good. And then which was the homam which was the yajnam that Dasharatha performed for getting Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna? What is that? Okay, who performed the yagam? Like I know Dasharatha was the actual king that performed it, but there must have been a Brihaspati that helped Vishwamitra perform. I mean Dasharatha.
Sage Rishyasringa.
Okay, what is the speciality about Sage Rishyasringa? The reality about Rishyasringa is he never ventured out of the forest. So he never knew, he was such a pure and pristine Acharya that he never knew how a man or a woman would look like. All he knew was how a man will look, and that's all he had seen, because he had never ventured before that into a kingdom. So when he came to Dasharatha's kingdom in order to perform this Putrakameshti Yagam, actually they had a lot of good rain, and they had a lot of good harvest because of the greatness of the Rishyasringa, the rishi that performed the Putrakameshti Yagam. Okay, who got the best part of the Homa Prasadam or the Homa Payasam?
Sumitra.
Why was that?
Because Kausalya had they were supposed to drink only one half, so Kausalya had one full bowl and Kaikeyi had one full bowl, so both of them gave half to Sumitra. That's why Sumitra had Lakshmana and Shatrugna.
Wonderful. That's great, Vaibhav. Nice answer. And then let me ask you. I got to make this tough because you guys are cracking this like nobody's business, man. I got to make this slightly more tough. Okay. What is another name for Vishwamitra Rishi? Is it Kashyapa? Is it Gautama? Is it Trishanku? Or is it Kaushika?
Kaushika.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is okay, let me see. Okay. One other question. Where did Rama meet Sita?
Mithila.
Okay. So tell me this. One of these names is not the name of Sita. Okay. Maithili. Is it not the name of Sita? Vaidehi.
It is the name of
It
Sita.
is.
It is the name.
That also is.
It is.
Okay. And Mandavi.
Mandavi is Sita's
Mandavi's
sister.
sister.
Yeah, so Mandavi is not Sita's name, right? Okay.
Mandavi is Sita's
No.
sister.
Okay. Who prompted Kaikeyi to ask Dasharatha for
Manthara.
Manthara.
Mantra.
Okay. Okay. So next question I want to ask is Ramayana, does this fall under the category of Vedam? Or does this fall under the category of Upanishad? Or does it fall under the category of
Itihasas.
Itihasa? Yes. So what is the other name for Itihasas? This is slightly tough.
Mahakalyam.
Upabrahmanams. The Puranams, Itihasams and Puranams are called as Upabrahmanams because they serve as the elucidation of whatever is mentioned in the Vedas and Upanishads. Okay, it is the same content, but it is explained through stories and history and how people actually behaved during circumstances based on the Vedic and Upanishad principles. Okay, and then where did Bharata spend his time during Ramachandra's Vanavasa?
Kaikeya.
Yeah. That's when. No, hold on. Let me finish the question. That's when Kaikeyi asked for the boon to Dasharatha for Rama to be banished. But after all of that happened, Rama went for the forest. Where did Bharata stay? Because Bharata did not stay in Ayodhya. He did not stay in Brooklyn. Nandigram. So what did he rule with actually?
Ramarada Padukai.
Padukai.
Very nice. So where did Hanuman meet Lord Rama?
Kishkinda.
There is a name of the mountain where he actually met it. Can you be more specific?
Rishimuka Hill.
Rishyamukha. Very good. What's the name of Wali's son?
Angada.
Angada.
Very nice. And when Hanuman went over to Sri Lanka and searched for Sita Devi, and then he met Sita Devi, what did she give to him to be handed back to Lord Rama?
Chudamani rings.
Oh yeah, the ring.
Chudamani ring.
Okay, so what did Hanuman give Sita?
The ring.
The ring.
The ring that Rama gave Sita.
Yeah,
And Sita left it off when Ravana was taking her back. So
understand,
Rama
but
found
what was written on the ring that Rama gave to Sita?
Rama.
Who answered it? Saumi? Good job. So the shlokam goes like Rama Namang Chitam Chetam Paschade Anguli Yakam. So that ring actually had the name of Ram written in his Ram's ring. That was what Anjaneya or Hanuman handed over to Sita. Okay. And then, all of this happened, and then Hanuman comes back, and there is Vibhishana that takes off from Sri Lanka and comes to meet Sri Rama, who actually recommended that Vibhishana be accepted into the Rama's force.
Hanuman.
Okay, so who actually helped relieve Lakshmana and other Vanaras and Lord Rama as well when the NagapAsha was put on top of them and they were tied with the NagapAsha by Indrajit?
Garuda.
Very nice. Who gave the first answer? Nice. I heard another voice. Was it Varshini? Sarvesh.
What is the Vishnu in Sarvesh?
I can't hear you, Kana. Can you speak up, please?
What is the Vishnu in Sarvesh?
Oh, very nice, very nice. Varada Vishnu and Sarvesh. Yeah, I heard your name before too. That's awesome, guys. So keep up the energy. I'm going to go a few more before we jump onto the story right away. Who killed Indrajit?
Lakshmana.
Lakshmana. So can anybody explain the story behind that? That's a very interesting story.
Indrajit goes to perform a sacrifice that will make him invincible, and then
What is the
quickly-
name of the sacrifice? It is called Nikumbala Yajna.
Okay.
Okay, and who gave him that? Who gave him that boon? Brahma gave him that boon. Okay, so what happens is once Indrajit comes to fight with Ravana, and Indrajit actually Ravana actually injures. Indra actually injures Ravana, and Ravana becomes unconscious. Okay, and Indrajit is enraged because his dad has been left unconscious by Indra, and Indrajit makes a war on Indra, and then Indrajit's actual name is Meghanath. Okay, the reason why he was called Meghanatha is because when he was born, it sounded like thunders were blowing down and there were lightning. Reason was Ravana's eldest son was Indrajit, and then Meghanath. So Ravana wanted his first son to be super powerful. He wanted him to be the best amongst all warriors. So he commanded all the planets that ruled over the horoscope to be assembled in the 11th house, which is the Labasthan. Okay, so when all the planets come to the 11th house, all of the planets that give him strength, that give him energy, that give him wealth, that give him knowledge, that give him, very good looks, that gives him very good powers, everything, all of the planets came and assembled in a very auspicious house because of the fear for Ravana. And so in that horoscope that Meghanath was born in, made him really powerful. He was not just a magical warrior, he was a magician and a sorcerer too. Not just was he a Maharathi, but he was also a sorcerer and a magician and a very, 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 very strong-minded person. So it was not easy to defeat Meghanath at all. So Meghanath goes and fights Indra, and he captures Indra, ties him up in his chariot, and he is driving down to Sri Lanka. Okay, so Brahmadeva stops Meghanath and says, you know what? You cannot do this. I know you are very powerful. I know you defeated Indra, but can you please let him go? Because Meghanath is also a very smart warrior, right? He's a very smart warrior. He's very powerful. He listens to Brahmadeva and he says, you know what, Brahmaji, because you said I have to leave Meghanath, I'm leaving just because you asked for it. And he makes Brahma really happy. Okay. And Brahma at that point gives him two boons. One boon is to give him a name called Indrajit, for the person that defeated Indra. So he says, from now on, you will have another name called Indrajit, means that you defeated Indra. And the second boon is that Indrajit asks for invincibility, like no death whatsoever at all for him. So Brahma says, that's not possible, but I can tell you a trick. If you perform the Nikumbala sacrifice before going to war, there is nobody that can defeat you because there will be a blazing chariot of fire that comes from that Nikumbala Yajna. And then if you climb on that blazing chariot of fire and fight anybody, there is no one, absolutely no one that can defeat you as long as you do that. And that's kept a big secret, right? So that is the Nikumbala Yagam that Indrajit wants to perform in order to kill Rama and Lakshmana, right? At that point, when he is performing the yajna, he's not supposed to touch any weapons, because while you're performing yajna, right, you have to be really pious and religious and do all of that stuff in a very strict protocol. So you're not supposed to touch any weapons. So that was an easy area for Lakshmana to attack him. Now, for number one reason is that to disrupt the yajna. So because if he finishes the yajna, then he becomes invincible, right? So you have to stop him from performing the yajna. That's one reason. And the second reason is that he does not have any weapons. And if you call him for a war at that time, and if he picks up the weapon, then the yajna becomes nullified. So the yajna is no longer valid. So for that reason, he attacks Indrajit at that spot, and that's when he goes behind Indrajit, and we have a very subtle moral for this whole class that I'm going to tell you guys now, is that the moral of today's session is to follow Satya and Dharma, no matter what. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how knowledgeable you are, if you end up or find yourself in the path of adharma, or if you are against Satya, that's it. You are not going to be able to win. You will completely be doomed, and that's it. There is no way you can get out of it. On the other hand, no matter how weak you are, or no matter how disadvantaged you are, no matter how poor you are, if you stand by the side of Dharma and if you stand by the side of Satya, there is no way you're going to lose. It might look like you're suffering. It might look like the tough path, but there is no way at all whatsoever that you're going to be suffering. So smart people like yourself, smart kids like yourself, should always pick the path of Satyam, should always pick the path of truth and Dharma, no matter what. Because each instance we come along in this story is going to be a proof of that one aspect. So if you really get this one thing right, I think you guys really can make a big difference in your lives. So don't just listen to this as stories, but also take the moral with you and try to live by it also, because that's the whole reason why we are having these sessions. Okay. So I'll go over a few questions here and then we can jump over to the story right away. Okay. So Hanuman went over to get the Sanjeevani Parvatam, right? So Hanuman got the Sanjeevani Parvatam, and when there was a lot of Sanjeevani Parvatam, wind blowing over Sanjeevani Parvatam, everybody got the medical effects of Sanjeevani Parvatam, right? All the monkeys that were hurt by the Brahmastram woke up, but the Rakshasas did not wake up. Why? Did you guys get the context of my question?
Because they didn't abide by Satyam and Dharma?
That's like a very subtle answer, but there was a practical reason why. They did not wake up. Is because as soon as they were killed in the war, Ravana instructed all of their bodies to be thrown into the sea, right? But Rama, Lakshmana, Jambavan, and Hanuman were waiting for the Sanjeevani Parvatam to come. And when you had the Sanjeevani Parvatam with that medicinal plants, and the wind was blowing from that medicinal plants, giving away the Amritamaya or the elixir, that great smell from the Sanjeevani Parvatam or Sanjeeva Karani, that plant made all of the monkeys wake up. But the bodies of the Rakshasas were already cremated in the sea. They had already been thrown away in the sea because of the fast-acting Rakshasas. Okay, so haste make waste. Right, that's the moral from that point. That's the reason why they did not wake up. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me pull out another quick quiz sheet I have. Okay, covered most of the questions. What is the kingdom of Ravana called?
Lanka.
Okay,
Lanka.
do you have a correlation to today's place there?
Sri Lanka?
Sri
Yes.
Lanka.
Sri Lanka is what's called today. And then Rama, Lakshmana, Hanuman, Jambavan, everybody went through the Rama Setu, or the bridge that was constructed between India and Sri Lanka, and they landed on a mountain. Do you know the name of that mountain that they camped on? And they were preparing for the big war. That mountain is called Suvela Parvatam. Even now, if you go to Sri Lanka, you can see that Suvela Parvatam. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Does Rama's bridge still float in the water, or?
Can you speak up, Kana? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah. So the bridge that went to Lanka, that Hanuman built and all the other Vanas built, right? Is it still there or not?
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is still there. There are a lot of satellites released by NASA and other space agencies from the satellites. You can still see that bridge that connects India and Lanka.
Yeah,
It's
when we
just-
when
it's
we
kind of
went to
submerged a little bit underwater, like about, I think, 10, 15, 20 feet.
Adam's Bridge.
Yeah, but the
when I
bridge is
went
still
when
there.
I
You
went
can
to
see
like
it.
Google Earth, I went like right in between Tamil Nadu, I mean Rameshwaram and Sri Lanka, and I saw the Rama Setu as like part of the land.
Right.
I also saw a satellite image of.
Very nice, guys. You guys are awesome. So one other question. When Ravana abducted Sita, which was the bird that was trying to help Sita by fighting?
Jatayu.
Jatayu.
That's what Desikar wrote Paramartha Stuti.
Did Ravana kill Jatayu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but then who narrated the story to Rama if Jatayu was killed?
Jatayu. He didn't kill Jatayu. He just-
Technically, he
Jatayu.
injured him, and Jatayu fell on
Jatayu
the
is
ground.
Yeah, technically, Ravana just cut off one of his wings, so he flew down.
Okay.
Yeah, so like one of his injuries that Ravana gave him led to his death.
He just ended
Okay.
up fatally wounding.
So Ravana gave him an injury and Jatayu told Rama and then he died.
Okay, very nice. So how many shlokas are there in Ramayana?
24,000, I think.
How many shlokas are there in Ramayana?
24,000.
24,000, very good. Is there a significance of the number 24 there for any reason? 24 letters are the 24 letters of the Gayatri Mantra. So those are supposed to be, the same letters of the Gayatri Mantra that belong to those 24 number. And then can any one person say, what are all the 7 kandas of Ramayana?
Sundara.
Okay, Sundara Kanda,
Balakandam.
Balakandam,
Aranyakanda,
Ayodhikandam,
Ayodhyakandam,
Uttarakandam,
Yuddhakandam,
Kishkindakandam.
You guys are missing one. You got everything else, but you are missing one.
Uttarakandam.
Uttarakandam,
Yuddha.
Yeah. You have to go in
Yuddhakandam, Uttarakandam,
Yuddhakandam,
order.
Kishkindakandam.
Yeah, if you have to go in order, it goes like Balakandam, Ayodhya Kandam. Balakandam is when Rama was a child. And then Ayodhya Kandam is when Rama lives in Ayodhya with Dasharatha. And then there is this Aranya Kandam where he is sent to the forest. And then there is Kishkinda Kandam. And there is Sundara Kandam where Hanuman goes and finds Sita Devi and comes back. And then there is Yuddha Kandam where Rama wages war over Ravana and defeats him. And then there is this last Uttarakanda, right? Which talks about the finishing of the story of Rama, Sita, Lavakusha, and finishing of that part. Okay. So last question, or last 2 questions, I'd say. What yuga was Ramayanam belonging to?
Treta.
Very nice. And then what is the name of Rama's bow?
Kodandam,
Kodanda.
Yeah, there is another famous bow. There's another famous bow that Arjuna used. Does anybody know what that is?
Partha.
Gandhi.
Gandhi. That's right.
Gandhi.
Gandhibam is Arjuna's bow. And then Kodandam is Rama's bow. Okay, very nice. So we have spent a good 30 minutes in the quiz session. So we'll go into the story right now. So what happens is Rama, Lakshmana have reached the Suvela mountain, and Hanuman and Jambavan are all helping him to fight the war. And when Ravana comes over on top of his fort and takes a look at Rama's Sena or the army force, he's really scared, because back in the day, building a bridge across the ocean and walking so many hundreds of thousands of monkeys across the ocean was something inconceivable. Like nobody had done it before. Nobody even thought about doing something like that. That's what made Ravana invincible. Is in order to attack Ravana, everybody had to go through the bridge or cross the sea. So it was really an impossible task at that time. But Ravana saw that Rama had made that bridge, and he had brought hundreds of thousands of monkeys with him across the sea, literally threw him off. He was like off balance. And he goes back to his ministers and says, you know what? We're not going to be able to defeat this Rama and Lakshmana the straightforward way. We have to find some, crooked paths in order to destabilize them. And then we have to make sure that they are afraid and scared, and then we do the tactics of war against them and then try to take care of them. So he says that, and he takes the help of Vidyut Jihva, is a Rakshasa, and then he does all sorts of Maya between Rama and Sita to say, he goes to Sita and says Rama is dead, and he goes to Rama and says, Sita is dead. He tries all of those fear psychosis tactics to destabilize both of them, but both of them still believe in the Satyam and Dharma, and they believe that the Satya and Dharma cannot be defeated, and so they are still waging the war by signals given by Vibhishana. Vibhishana says, this is all Maya, and Rama and Ravana could not have killed Sita because Ravana has a curse that if he touches a woman without their consent, then his head would shatter into thousands of pieces. Nobody knew about this other than Vibhishana. Vibhishana says there is no way Ravana could have killed Sita's head because he would be dead by now if he did it. So these kind of things that Vibhishana tells Rama, and also there is Trijata. Does anybody know who is Trijata? Is a Rakshasi?
Sita's like guard.
Kind of like
Yeah, God.
The Rakshasi who was with Sita.
Yeah, but what's the relation?
Who's good?
Vibhishana.
What is that?
Vibhishana's daughter.
Yes, Vibhishana's daughter. Good, Sriman.
I have a question.
Yeah, Vibhishana's daughter, she is a very nice lady. In spite of being a Rakshasi, she is well-mannered and a good Sattva lady. So she says to Sita that Vidyut Jihvan is a big Mayavi and not to trust any of things that he says or does. And he says that the head that he brings, that he calls is of Lord Rama's, is going to disappear in a few minutes. And that is proof that it is all Maya and it's not a real head of Lord Rama. So stuff like this go back and forth, and they all know what's going on. Yes, Saumi, did you have a question?
When Ravana abducted Sita in the Pushpak Vimanam, she was holding her hand. Why didn't his head shatter into pieces?
No, like he does not try to catch her or touch her or anything like that. He's just forcing her to get on to the rich. I mean, that's a great question, but I don't think there was really. I didn't know if there is really contact between them or not at that point. If he touched her or pushed her or anything like that. That's what you see. But he threatens her, or he threatens her to kill her, and nobody knows of this wish that or this curse that Ravana has. Even Sita doesn't know. So he might have very covetedly tried and coaxed her into getting into the Pushpaka Viman, threatening that he would kill her or stuff like that. So I really have to look up what that reason is, but I don't think he touched her or anything like that without her consent. What is that?
I also had a question.
Yes.
So if he knew that
first introduce yourself and then ask the question, Kana.
My name is Samstita.
Okay.
So another கேள்வி is that if he had known that his head would shatter into 1,000 pieces if a woman didn't want him, why did he go after Sita in the first place? Like, he wouldn't have been able to do anything with her because he knows that she would never accept him as her new husband or whatever. So what's the point?
Great question. So that's a great question, Samrita. I mean, to be honest, the belief that Ravana had was he had a lot of self-confidence. He was under the impression, he didn't know the greatness of Sita Devi. He didn't know the Pativratyam or the Pativrata of Sita Devi, that she was not going to budge no matter what, right? He was thinking, he had done this abduction to a lot of Devastris, a lot of Rishya Putris and Rishi Kumaris, and he had a lot of them already with him. So what his model was that he would abduct them, and then he would threaten them by putting Rakshasis around her, to threaten her and say, if you don't agree to Lord Ravana, he's going to kill you. He's going to take your hands apart. He's going to take your eyes gouged out. He's going to take your legs out, and they'll threaten the ladies to, no means, and kind of force them into submitting to Ravana. And poor ladies, sometimes they are so overcome by fear, and there is nobody to help them. But in Sita's case, Rama was there to help them, right? Rama was there to help her. It is Lord Rama himself that Sita believed in. And Sita was also, Tayar herself. So there is no way this was going to happen with Sita, but with the other normal people, he was able to have success. So he assumed that it would be the same case with Sita also, and he tried his tricks. Unfortunately, he met with his death when he did that. Okay. I'm not sure if I answered your question altogether, but I think that's the.
You did. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So let's jump into the question here. So at this point, both Ravana and Indrajit are furious, and they want to get Rama and Lakshmana by some means, one way or the other, right? Indrajit, you cannot just overstate his greatness or his his warriorness in the battlefield, because he was a very, 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 very fierce warrior. Not just he was a fierce warrior, he was also a sorcerer, and he was also a magician, and he had a lot of divine weapons in his armory.
Was this after Indrajit abducted Indra?
Yeah, Indrajit abducted Indra like way before all of this happened.
Okay.
Indrajit abducted Indra. He got his boons from Brahma, and he called his name as Indrajit, and he called that Nikumbala Yajna. And he was like almost close to being invincible, because nobody knew about this Nikumbala Yajna, right? So if he went secretly and performed that Nikumbala Yajna and got that blazing chariot, that's it. There is nobody here in this world that could have defeated him, right? But because Rama and Lakshmana were the followers of Satya and Dharma, they somehow got the news of this Nikumbala Yajna from Vibhishana, and they were able to crack the Yajna and prevent him from performing it, right? So Rama never ever showed himself as Lord Sriman Narayan. All through the Rama Avataram, Rama never once even tried marginally to use any of his godly powers. He was acting really well like a human being, right? It is direct opposite of Krishna Avataram, because at every single
Krishna and Arjuna.
Avataram, Lord Krishna tries to say to everybody that he is Perumal, right? He was born in a jail. The baby that was born before him went up in the air and said, your next child is going to be Lord Sriman Narayana himself. He's going to kill Kamsa. He was still born in the jail, and right in between a jail that is fully secured by guards, he was able to get out and go between the river Yamuna, and Adiseshan came out on top of his head to protect him. And then he killed a ton of asuras, hands down, and he showed Vishwarupam to Arjuna and to a few others in the battlefield. And he married Shodashastri Sahasresha is one of his archanas. Like he married about 16 he had 16 wives, but still when a brahmachari had to kick Parikshit's body in order for him to be saved from the Apandavastram, when he kicked as a brahmachari, the baby woke up. So how could he have married so many people and still been a brahmachari? God knows, and he's God. So he pulled off all of his godly skills like all day long, right? But Rama was a direct opposite. He never ever took advantage of the point that he was Lord Sriman Narayana, and he always tried to be like a very, very normal person. But still, he was able to overcome all of his obstacles in his life. Like to defeat somebody like Indrajit and Ravana is not an easy thing. To fight a Karadushanas war, like there were about thousands of Karadushanas and there was just Rama, the only one person. To defeat all of that Karadushanas was not possible. To actually perform his dad's promise of going away for 14 years when you are about to be crowned king, that is not possible. So all of these are possible because Rama was called as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. So he would never waver from his word. He would never waver from Satya. He would never waver from Dharma. And he was like the embodiment of Satya and Dharma, right? That is the reason why, Satyena Lokan Jayati is a slokam that is mentioned by our acharyas to elucidate the point that if Rama was not using his Perumal powers, how was he able to do all of these impossible tasks? The answer is with the power of Satya. So again, I'm repeating the moral of the story here, guys. Kids, don't take this lightly. The power of Satyam is supposed to be extremely, you can win over all the worlds with the power of Satyam or the power of Dharma. So never, ever, ever, being smart kids, you should not waver from Satya or Dharma at all. Okay? So keep this in mind. It may look like you are at a disadvantage, you are being defeated. It would almost like look like a dumb idea to follow Satyam and Dharma, but guess what? That's what's going to make you win. If you are on the side of Adharma or Asatyam, that's it. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how rich you are, how powerful you are. It's all going to go down really bad. Okay, just remember this point. Okay, so getting back to the story, Vaibhav, I think you had a question.
No, just in Rama Avataram, did like in Krishna Avataram, when he was born itself, that voice came and told his parents that he was Perumal, and Krishna showed it. But Rama, like, did anybody other than Sita and Hanuman and Lakshmana really know that he was Perumal?
Yeah, they knew. They knew. Actually, a bunch of people actually knew because of their divine knowledge. But Rama did not try to show. They knew it because they looked at all of his activities and they realized that, you know what, this is not going to be able to be done by a normal human being. This is in no way. See, actually, for example, Ravana's wife. Ravana's wife. Do anybody know Ravana's wife's name?
Mandodari.
Mandodari. That's right. Mandodari was a big pativrata. Pativrata means she was very, 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 very faithful to her husband. And she was a very powerful lady because of that faith and that discipline she had on Ravana. Okay. So when Rama kills Ravana, Rama goes to meet Mandodari. Even Rama himself is afraid. He's scared because Rama is a very pious person, right? So he's afraid of genuinely good people. Mandodari is a fair, genuine person. And because Ravana was killed, he was expecting that Mandodari would curse him. And Rama was really, really scared to go to Mandodari. So he's literally, kind of shivering inside while he's walking to see Mandodari. But the moment Mandodari sees Rama, she starts praising him. She says, Tamasah Paramodhata Shankachakra Gadadaraha. So this person that is walking in front of me is not Rama, a human being. He is none other than the Lord of this world, who is the Lord of this whole universe, that is the carrier of the Shankam and Chakram. His Lord Sriman Narayana himself, because there is nobody in this world that was so powerful to defeat both Indrajit and Ravana in a battle of war, right? So she did recognize, and it is recorded in several places. Sabari Moksha Sakshi Bhuta is one of the names, one of the sentences that Swami Deshigan says in Raghuvira Gadyam. Yeah, and also in Raghuvira Gadyam, the Vedanta Deshigar calls Rama as Veera and Satyavrata. So Rama never, ever, ever slipped from his vow of Satyam or Dharma. Okay. So with that, I think, where we left off was Meghanath and Ravana were literally furious to get one of the two brothers, Rama or Lakshmana. And then Meghanath, the problem was he would appear in front of Rama and Lakshmana, he would shoot an arrow or a divine astram, and then he will vanish. So people will not be able to even target where he was. And then all of a sudden he would appear in the back of Rama and Lakshmana and then shoot another arrow back on their head. So there was literally no way people could fight, Indrajit. So at that point, these two, Indrajit is extremely furious. And what he does is he unleashes an astra called NagapAsha. Okay, we'll see for a few minutes about what NagapAsha is. NagapAsha, what it does is it's an arrow that is laced with millions of snakes. Okay, though what happens is when a warrior unleashes it on his enemy, the enemy will be swooned by about 1 million snakes, extremely poisonous, venomous snakes, comes and wraps around the body of the enemy that gets this arrow stuck on him, right? So there is no way a normal human being is going to be able to survive that many bites from 1 million poisonous snakes. Okay, so what happens is Indrajit somehow hides from the back, from the behind. He shoots one arrow, goes away, comes back behind and shoots another arrow, and he traps Rama and Lakshmana in this NagapAsha. Okay, so in this NagapAsha, what happens is it hits Rama and Lakshmana, and guess what? 1 million snakes follow the arrow, and they completely wrap Rama and Lakshmana around, and probably, God knows how many bites Rama and Lakshmana had to take from those snakes. So the other point about that NagapAsha Mastram was that those snakes were referred to as Kadraveyas. Okay, Kadraveyas are particularly very, very venomous family of snakes, and they were the descendants of Kadru. Kadru is the mother of all snakes, and this is a particular brand of snakes that were extremely poisonous, and those snakes have completely wrapped around the body of Rama and Lakshmana. Now, Rama and Lakshmana have taken several bites from that snake and they are lying down unconscious. There is Jambavan, there is Hanuman, there is Sugriva, and there is Vibhishana, and there is another character called Sushena. Okay, Sushena is none other than the father-in-law of Sugriva. Do you know what the function of Sushena is? Anybody? It's a really tough question. If you guys answer it, I will be like on cloud 9.
He's a doctor.
There you go. How did you know, Saumi?
I don't know.
Did you read it somewhere or did your grandma tell you?
I watched Ramayana on a TV and I just figured it out.
Whoa, nice. So Sushena is the father-in-law of Sugriva, and he is the one that gives advice. So he was also the one that said there is something called a Vishalya Karani and Sanjeeva Karani that Hanuman can go bring when they are hit by Brahmastram and they are injured. So they are like Sushena is the medical advisor that tells what are all the herbs that are supposed to be brought and prepared in order to save Rama and Lakshmana. And at this point, Sushena tells like it is certain death for Rama and Lakshmana at this point because of so many snake bites if they are not saved before sunset. There is only about roughly 24 minutes before the sun goes down. And you all know, right? Whenever a person gets bitten by a snake, that person shouldn't sleep. The reason is once
I have a
person
question.
starts. Yes, let me finish this thought, Kana, and come back to you, Sriman. Okay, so whenever a person goes to sleep after a snake bite, what happens is the blood pressure kind of drops down. So blood flows across the body. What it does when it flows, it carries the poison to all the organs, and there are internal organ failure, and that will cause the person to die a certain death. So Sushena says it's going to get dark. It's about 24 minutes before the sun goes down. So if anybody wants to do anything, you guys have 24 minutes. That's it. Nobody knows what to do within that 24 minutes. Everybody is stunned because they never expected Rama or Lakshmana to be down. And these many snakes, wrapping around them. Even if they went to disturb the snakes or, try to kill them, at least one snake will get them, or one snake would get Rama and Lakshmana. So it was like death guarantee for anybody at that point, certain death. That's where they are locked down right now. Sugriva is weeping. Vibhishana is like completely upset because he is thinking he could have, better stayed with Ravana. Now that he came here and Rama and Lakshmana are dead, that's it. He has no other way to go and he's stuck because he cannot go back to Ravana. Ravana would kill him. So he's he cannot be pacified at all. Sugriva is weeping and Vibhishana is weeping and Hanuman and Jambavan are like, brainstorming like crazy to think what needs to be done here in the 24 minutes that is left. And it's like super tense at that moment. It's getting dark. There is no light. So it's almost like, the whole world is going down because Rama and Lakshmana are the embodiments of Dharma. They cannot be defeated. They are invincible because of their practice of Satya and Dharma. But here they are lying down with snakes, poisonous snakes wrapped around them. And they are almost like statues at this point. Let me stop here and take questions from Sriman and Saumi before we get back. Yes, Sriman.
How can Lakshmana get affected by the poison if he's Adiseshan? He's technically also a snake, right?
Right. Good question. Great question. That's a great question. But you have to remember, Rama is also Perumal. Leave alone Adiseshan. How can Perumal get affected by snake?
Is that Perumal acting again?
They are actually acting out the drama as human beings. Rama and Lakshmana are almost prohibiting themselves from using their divine powers. Do you think Perumal couldn't have killed Ravana just by one thought, just by Sankalpa Matram, just by thinking about killing Ravana? He could have gotten rid of whole Lanka in 1 second. That was not difficult at all for Rama or Lakshmana. Okay, but they had to follow the rules of being a human being in that Rama Avataram, and they had to follow the human rules and to do step by step as a logical human being would do, and then show the world that if you follow Satyam and Dharmam, you will never be defeated by anybody. That's the reason why it doesn't affect them. Okay, Sriman?
Okay.
Edma. real quick.
So I just have a statement. Doesn't Garuda come and heal the thingies because he's technically the slave of Kadru?
Yes. No, what were you saying? Didn't Garuda come and do what?
So Garuda, when there's only 24 minutes before the sun sets.
Yeah.
doesn't-
Don't get ahead of the story. If you're talking about this, let me get there, okay?
Mhm.
But that's a good point. Nobody heard it, okay? So anybody else have any questions before we go, Ma? Further? Okay, wonderful. So at this point, Rama and Lakshmana are lying down like a statue. Everybody is weeping. Hanuman and Jambavan are brainstorming, finding out what needs to be done. And Sugriva wakes up and talks to Sushena and says, you know what? Let me just pick up Rama and Lakshmana. Let's go back to Kishkinda and somehow we'll make sure that we kill these snakes and we will get the Sanjeeva Karani, Vishalya Karani, do something. We will do some, yajnas, yagas, pray to the gods, and then let's take care of Rama and Lakshmana while I go, like Sugriva goes, and fights with Ravana and brings back Sita, right? Vibhishana is almost laughing inside himself. He's like, Sugriva got himself kicked by Vali, right? He was not even able to win over Vali, and how is he going to win over Ravana, right? So Sugriva was very valiant. Sugriva was very, very, brave to have said that, but everybody knew in practicality that Sugriva alone couldn't do it. So he was talking out of bravery for helping Rama, but him going and fighting Ravana and winning over Sita was not going to happen. So everybody were like, yeah, I understand he's trying to, be nice, but this is not going to work. And they were like, fully upset and things are going down and it's really very unfortunate and it's like, everybody's feeling disappointed. So at that point in time, what happens is there is a big wind that is blowing in the air. So all the clouds that are coming over to cause the darkness are clearing out. And it almost looks like the sun is going to rise back again. The water in the seas are like, starting to boil and they are like, a lot of waves, very high waves, like it's a tsunami or something. And then, there is a lot of chaos going on and nobody knows what's going on. And especially before a calamity like an earthquake or a tsunami occurs, the poisonous creatures that seek shelter under the ground kind of know it's going to happen. So at this moment, all of those poisonous creatures are crawling away from the sea or crawling away into safety to protect themselves, and nobody knows what's going to happen. So at that point, Swami Deshikan in his Garuda Panchashat, he has a sloka that goes by Kim Nirgataha Kimarkaha Paripatati Divaha Kim Samidhoyam Aurvaha Kim Smith Karta Swaradrihi Nanuviditamidam Yomavatman Garutman. So what happens is everybody is wondering, is the sky breaking down and is the sun falling down? Or is it like the mountains are flying and falling into the water because there is too much chaos in the atmosphere? What's going on? And then they are also thinking did a volcano kind of burst inside the sea that it came out and it's causing so many big waves and it's almost causing the water to be, almost looking like boiling. So what's happening and nobody knows. And right there in the sky, this is all happening because of the fluttering of the bird's wings, fluttering of the wings of Lord Garuda. Garuda shows up right there in the sky and everybody is almost kind of instantly relieved. It's like, my God, Garuda showed up, something is happening. Something is going to happen right now. There is just, less than 24 minutes now, time is racing. And here comes Garuda that can save from all of these snakes and save Rama and Lakshmana. At that point, why would Garuda come when there are snakes involved? Does anybody have an answer?
Because Garuda eats snakes.
Snakes are his food.
Why?
Garuda eats snakes.
Why?
Because of the story with Kadru and Vinatha.
Good. Who gave him the boon for having snakes as his food?
Paramal.
Okay, he has his fight with Indra, and then Perumal gives him 2 boons or 3 boons actually. One for Garuda to be in his flag. The second one is for Garuda to be his chariot or his vehicle, and then for snakes to be his food. Okay, so that's great answer. And who was that gave that answer?
Vedant.
Very nice. So can you introduce yourself, Kana Vedant? I was thinking you were Saumi's brother, but you look to be another Vedant. Where are you from?
No, I'm Saumi's brother.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. He lives like about half a mile away from me, so I know who he is. So Perumal gave that boon to him. So Garuda comes around, and guess what? Garuda goes around Rama and Lakshmana. He makes a pradakshanam and he salutes Rama and Lakshmana, and he comes down to them. And the sloka in Ramayana goes like, Tato muhurtat garudam vainateyam mahabalam vanaraha dadrishu sarve jwalantam iva pavakam amagatam abhiprekshya nagaste viprududruvuhu yeistau satpurushau buddhau sarabhutair mahabalau. So he sees that these 2 good gentlemen are tied with these poisonous snakes, and he comes down and he flutters his wings, and just looking at Garuda, right, even the scent of Garuda is enough for the snakes to run away. So all of those poisonous snakes, without hurting Rama and Lakshmana, quietly disperse, and Rama and Lakshmana but they are under the effect of poison though. Even though the snakes have run away, he has taken God knows how many bites, Rama and Lakshmana, and they are still in a state of unconsciousness. So Garuda comes down, and then he gives them a hug, Rama and Lakshmana a hug. And guess what happens after that? Can anybody guess what happens?
They wake up.
They wake up, and they don't just wake up. They wake up with twice as much as energy as they had before. Okay? Tejo, Viryam, Balam, Chaujaha, Utsahascha, Mahagunaha, Pradarsananja, Buddhischa, Smritischa, Dvigunaatayoho. Meaning, all the Tejas, Balam, Viram, Ojas, Sattvam, Mahagunam, all of those characteristics they had seem to have been multiplied by 2. As soon as they got a hug from Garutman, all of the poison disappears, and all of the bad energy that was dissipated by the snakes and Indrajit, and all of it is gone. And then they get all of their good skills multiplied by 2 after they get their hug from Garutman. Okay, and then Rama obviously knows who Garuda is because it's his own vehicle, but he is acting a drama here. So he, true to his character, tries to behave like he doesn't understand who he is. So he asks Garutman, Ko bhavan rupa sampanno, divyastra ganulepanaha, vasano varaje vastre, divyabharana bhushitaha, tamuvacha mahateja vainateyo mahabalaha, patatriraja pritatma, harshaparya kulekshanaha. So Rama says, who are you, gentlemen? I really don't recognize you. If I look at you, I remember that my father and my grandfather are coming to my memory. So there are certain people whom you just look at and you feel good. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to go near them. The people have so much of positive energy, and they are such nice people that just by looking at them, you have a sense of happiness, right? Like, for example, if you go to meet your grandparents or, grandfather or somebody, automatically you kind of get that benevolence. You feel that benevolence from them. And if you go to see a singer in Ahobila, you don't have to talk to them, or you don't even have to go close to that Swami, but you still feel that grace, and you feel, very good, and you feel very happy. So Rama was also having a similar feeling, and he almost felt like he met his father or he met his grandfather. And he says, like, who are you? I'm like totally surprised. You are here and you have saved us, and we are feeling like twice as better as we used to feel before. And you're giving a very positive feeling to me, and who are you? And Garutman also knows that Rama very well knows the answer for that question because he's his own chariot. And Garutman, true to his character also in the drama, he offers an answer. Is like, Aham sakate kakutstha priyah prano bahischaraha Garutman ihasam prapto ivayo sahyakaranat asurava mahavirya dhanavava mahabalaha surashchapisa gandharvaha puraskriti shatakratum Niyamam mokshaitum shaktaha sarabandam sudarunam maya balat indrajita nirmitam krura karmana. So he says, I'm your dear friend, not just any friend. I'm your dear friend. Aham sakhate kakusta. Sakha means friend. Priyah prano bahischaraha. So I am your dear friend, and I'm almost your own. I'm so close a friend of yours that I'm almost like your prana that is roaming outside, right? So that's what he identifies himself as. And he said, I saw you. I heard that you both were hit by the, NagapAsha, not Nagastra. Nagastra is different, but this is a NagapAsha, which is a tie by positive, tie by poisonous million snakes. And I heard that you guys were hit by Indrajit with the NagapAsha. And I knew that there was only less than 24 minutes left and time was running out really fast. So I came down in order to rescue. And this is like a really poisonous snake like Kadraveyan that has gotten both of you. There is no way that you would have escaped this if you were just normal people. Because you followed Satya and Dharma, because you were Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, you had this, and he doesn't say he's Perumal yet, right? So he says, because you followed this, you are like good people, gentlemen. I was, already obliged to come down and save both of you. And the moment he says, you know what? Don't worry about anything. You guys are really, Satyavan and Satyasandha. So there is no way that you're going to lose this battle. And he gives them good wish. And he flies back on top of their head, makes 2 circles, and flies back to Sri Vaikuntham. Okay. So, and then what happens is Indrajit, when he realizes that Rama and Lakshmana have escaped the NagapAsha, right? He comes back and hits them with Brahmastra. And then you all know, Sushenar again advises that there is Sanjeeva Karani that Hanuman can go get. And Hanuman gets the Sanjeeva Karani and wakes them up again. And once Indrajit knows that they survived Brahmastram also, Indrajit is smart, right? He goes to Ravana and says, Dad, this is not going to work. These guys are going to kill us, and you better return Sita Devi back. These are not normal human beings. Like Indrajit is like almost invincible, right? And 2 times, not once, 2 times, he killed them almost. If it were anybody other than Rama or Lakshmana, there was no chance for them surviving. Okay, it is because of the Satya and Dharma that Rama and Lakshmana survived it. And he goes back to Ravana and say, come on, you have to return back Sita, otherwise both of us are going to die. And Ravana says, no way. No way, I'm not going to return Sita back. Even if you cut me into 2, Ravana says that his body will not fall in the feet of Rama. Instead, his body will fall backwards, away from Rama. That is what he recognizes as his bad habit of stubbornness. And he says, I can't help it. I know if I'm going to lose, that's fine. But I can't walk back or I cannot return back. And then he says that and he insults Indrajit to say, if you're so scared of going to war, go away. Okay, don't go fight again. You can wear the dresses of a woman and go sit. It is not, I don't mean to be disrespectful to women, but back in the day, it was considered to be an insult for men to dress up as women and go into the battlefield, because by the Shastras or the rules of war, women were not allowed the hardships of getting hit by arrows or missiles or fighting or riding on a chariot normally. Okay, so that's the reason why he was trying to insult Indrajit by saying that, go away and dress yourself up and take care of your injuries. But Indrajit says, no, I'm not afraid of death. I'm just saying you're doing the wrong thing. If you still want me to go, I can definitely go and fight Rama. And he says a final goodbye to his wife, to his mom, and to Ravana. And he goes to fight Lakshmana and Rama. Guess what happens?
He dies.
Lakshmana knows that this guy is a magician, sorcerer, indefeatable, invincible warrior. He pulls out just 1 arrow. He just pulls out 1 arrow. And it's not a celestial weapon, or it's not, anything super duper fancy. He just pulls out 1 arrow. And then the way he actually, empowers the arrow is that he says, Dharmatma satyasandascha ramo dasharatir yadi paurushecha apratidhvandvaha sharainam jahi ravanim. This is the crux of what I wanted to say for this whole class. So so Lakshmana says, if my brother Lord Rama was a Dharmatma, if my brother Rama was a Satyasandha, if these two things were true, this is not a magical weapon, this is not fancy stuff, but let this arrow be empowered by the Satya and Dharma and let it return back with the head of the son of Ravana. He makes it really super clear. If Rama was Satyasandha, if Rama was Dharmatma, let this simple arrow go and bring me back the head of Indrajit. And he says that, and he doesn't target anywhere. He just leaves the arrow, let it go in the air. And guess what? Because of the power of Satyam and Dharmam of Lord Rama, the arrow goes, tears apart Indrajit's head, and brings it back to the feet of Lakshmana. So that is the power of Satya and Dharma. It does not stand in front of any celestial weapon, any magicianism, any sorcery, any warriorism, nothing. Okay? So you guys better take this really seriously, okay? So that's pretty much the moral of the story, and Indrajit dies, and we all know the story. Rama had the final fight with Ravana, and he took down Ravana with a Brahmastram. And if you get a chance, when you guys grow up, you should actually read Srimad Ramayanam in full detail in order to see what sort of a miserable war or war without any rules. Back in the day, it was very common to be fighting between kings, but they had to follow the rules of war in order to be engaging in a proper official fight. But these people, Ravana and Indrajit, they would, breach all rules. No Satya, no Dharma. It's all Maya. They would come and attack in the dark. They would attack when they are sleeping. They would, disappear after releasing an arrow. They just reappear in the sky. They just go back behind and attack from behind and do all sorts of crazy stuff. At some point, if you read Srimad Ramayanam, you will understand, like, how is it even possible for anybody to not die fighting with Ravana and Indrajit? It is so unfair. The war would be so unfair if you read and understand what's going on. Like, you'll be surprised. But the power of Dharmam and Satyam always supported Rama and Lakshmana, and all of the efforts, no matter how popular, how effective, how valiant, how, I cannot say more adjectives, but however powerful they were, they all failed.
Yeah.
Because they were in the side of Adharma, and they were also, they were practicing Asatyam, and they abducted Sita, which was a very, 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 very wrong thing to do. And they were not willing to surrender back to Rama also. Okay? So it doesn't matter how powerful you are, it matters which side you end up on. Right?
I have a question.
Yes. Keshav, could
Wait,
you say?
after Garuda rescued Rama from the Nagapasha, didn't
Yes.
Garuda become very proud of himself, or was that another story?
I think that's probably another side story. But see, always you have to look for a pramana for everything you are seeing. So because you have a lot of sources of information you're getting, like Saumi pointed out, you can watch it in the TV, you can see off of YouTube, you can see from Amar Chitrakatha, you can see from comics, different other stuff. But our proof from Srimad Ramayanam written by Valmiki. In that Srimad Ramayanam written by Valmiki, this story appears in the Yuddha Kandam, and it is the 50th chapter, right? So that 50th chapter finishes off with Garutman returning back to Sri Vaikuntham. There is no reference of that particular event causing Garutman to have become more proud or anything like that I'm aware of. But I will definitely look out to see if there is any story like that and get back to you next time when I talk. Okay, Keshav?
Okay.
Thanks, Ma. Yes, Somi.
Why did Lord Vishnu reincarnate anyway?
Reincarnate as who?
Lord Rama.
Yeah, see, at every point of time, there is this Bhagavad Gita shloka, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So in order for Dharma samsthapanam, Dushta samharam, and Sishta paripalanam, like in order for upholding Dharma, in order for protecting his devotees, and in order for punishing the Rakshasas and demons, he takes avataram or incarnation during every yugam in order to repeat this cycle and then restore the dharma back And we have all the avatarams that we have seen so far, the 10 avatarams, the general ones that you know, and many, many more avatarams from Srimad Bhagavatam. So all of those are done in order for Dharma Samstapana, Dushta Sikshana, and Sishta Paripalana. Okay, Gana? I'd like everybody to ask questions if you have any.
Mama,
Yes.
what does Dharma and Satya mean practically for us?
Yeah, Dharma, very good question. That's a great question. Satyam, see, there are two forms of Satyam. Satyam is truth, but there is also Ritam. Ritam is supposed to be absolute truth. Okay, so Satyam is the form of truth that is acceptable to this whole world, that is applicable to this whole world, and it is simply called as truth or the reality, or how would I tell it? It's a very loaded question you're asking, and it's actually I'm finding myself at loss of words to explain. But Satyam is the truth, is the real truth. Like Sriman Narayanan is Satyam. Okay, all other things are like, not such a profound Satyam. All other deities or devotees are also gods, but Perumal Sriman Narayanan is the essence of all of those murtis. That is one example. The other example is your parents, right? Your parents always try and tell you the good stuff, and they always give you what is Satyam. So following your parents' words could be a good way to understand what Satyam is, as against the other people that might tell you stuff that might look very favorable but are not really Satyam. And then Dharmam is nothing but whatever is destined for you, for your particular age and for your family, and is destined by the elders of your family, right? So, for example, the brahmacharis that have had Yajñopavita, that have had Punal, have to perform Sandhyavanam. So that is one Satyam, one Dharma, right? You cannot ask like, why is Chris not performing Sandhyavandanam? Why is Brad not performing Sandhyavandanam? Why am I just doing? Because you are given the Yajñopavitam, because you are a Brahmin boy, you have to perform Sandhyavandanam. So you can ask your parents what your Dharma is. Like your Dharma as students is to be nice and learn as much education as possible in whatever area you like, in whatever area you have been initiated. You have to gain all of the knowledge at this point at your life. That is your pradhana dharma or major dharma, right? So you can talk to your parents about what your dharma is and what is Satyam for your particular situation and your particular age. That's the I'm sorry, it's a wishy-washy answer, but that's the best I can give you at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Kana, what's your name?
Vasumati.
Vasumati. Oh, nice. You are daughter of Srimati Akila Raghavan, right?
Mama.
Okay, very good. Good question. Yes, any other questions? All right, that was very nice. Yes, Saumi, you had a question?
How did Garuda know that Rama was like, he was almost going to get.
Yeah. So Garudman is in Sri Vaikuntham as Nitya Suris, and Rama is Perumal, right? They have divine powers to be connected with Perumal all the time. So as Nitya Suris, they know what's going on, and he's totally connected with Perumal. So see, Rama is Perumal himself, and Garudman is also his own vehicle. So they all know how it has been scripted and how the drama is going on. It's just for our learning that they pretend to be human beings. Okay. Any other questions? Ritvik, Varshini, Stavya, Samvrita. Raman, you didn't ask any questions today. What's going on?
I didn't really have any questions. I understood everything.
Wonderful, wonderful. But thanks for coming though.
Okay.
Roma, Riti, Harshini, guys have any questions? Vasumati?
No, Mama.
All right. So if that's the case, then we will wrap up with Acharya Taniyan. And I think we have another session next class. If you guys have any feedback, feel free to let us know. We'd like to make it as interesting as possible for everyone and keep this going on even after your school reopens.
Can
Okay.
you can you send the can you send the YouTube link of this? Can you send the YouTube link of this session?
Yes. And who is this?
My name is Aparajitan and
Okay.
Adi. Oh,
Very nice. We'll definitely do, Kana.
okay.
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining and listening patiently. We'll wrap up with Acharya Taniyan and we'll finish the session. We'll all meet next Saturday with a new story. श्रीमद्रङ्गषडारि सम्भविवराल्लब्धागमान्तद्वयं श्रीमद्वीररहुत्वहात्ति षडजत्पादारविन्दाश्रयं श्रीमद्वेदवदं स देशिकयतेः कारुण्यवीक्षास्पदं सेवे रङ्गधुरीन शासनवसं नारायणं योगिनं वेदान्तदेशिकयतीन्द्रकटाक्षलब्धत्रय्यन्तसारमनवद्यगुणं बुधाग्र्यं नारायणात्येतदुर्यकृपाभिषिक्तं श्रीरङ्गनाथयतिशेखरमाश्रयामः श्रीलक्ष्मीनरसिंहदेवपादुकासेवकश्रीमञ्जरगोपश्री नारायणेन्द्रमहादेशिकाय नमः उदय शिवन श्री रंगनाथ विजेंद्र महादेशिकाय नमः केशवाय नमः
Keshuvaya Namaha.
Keshevaya Namaha.
केशवाय नमः
Adiyan.
अडियन
Dhanyosmi Swami Keshavaya Namaha.
thank you धन्योस्मि thank you
Annyeonghaseyo.